I hope you're having a great day. Well, today I want to talk about this one simple food that grows abundantly across our country, and it's something that we should be using with the onset of winter. It can also be used during the summer in a different way, but we're going to talk about Jaggery. Now, Jaggery is basically unrefined sugar, and we all know the dangers and the poisons of white refined sugar and how it's one of the leading causes of most inflammatory conditions and diseases across the world, including obesity, cancers, diabetes, and all of that stuff. We're eating way too much refined sugar, and the bad thing about refined sugar is once we start it, it has a very addictive property. So we start getting more and more addicted, which is why we say children between the age group from the time they're an infant at least until they're 5 or 6 and they can have a mind of their own and start understanding how bad sugar is, they should never be given white sugar, because then we start the addiction process at a very early age in them. And I think the simple way of looking at it is most adults are addicted to sugar. So how would you ever get your child to break an addiction cycle when we find it so difficult? So we're talking about Jaggery today. Now, Jaggery is a warm food. It's used during the winters to warm the body. It dilates the blood vessels, allowing more blood flow, which means more warmth to our system. And this is the reason why our elders, our grandparents, there's so much of wisdom that we can get from them. But all that wisdom has now got a huge obstacle, something called scientific research and science, which is good, which is necessary, but there are just too many people hiding behind studies done on rats and studies done on mice, when we have a whole generation that lived before us and used these common natural foods to enhance their health. So number one, if it can dilate your blood vessels and create warmth, it also makes it very good for people with high blood pressure. People with high blood pressure, you have a problem pushing blood through your arteries. So any dilation in the arteries will allow for more blood to flow more easily and reduce your blood pressure automatically. Now, Jaggery is my favorite food, and it should exist in every Indian household, not just Indian, across the world. Okay, before chocolate and commercially prepared sweeteners and junk came in, India was living on Jaggery. Our elders ended every meal with a small piece of pure Jaggery. Different reasons. Number one, it can stimulate your digestive enzymes, which means you have better digestion, lesser acidity, lesser bloating, lesser gas. And plus, immediately after a meal, if you have a small piece of Jaggery, your brain gets a signal that it has already got something sweet, which means the cravings for more unhealthy desserts and commercially prepared sweets and chocolates and all of that stuff, we don't fall into that circle anymore. So the trick is, the moment you finish a meal, you have a small piece of Jaggery. Now, pure Jaggery will melt in your mouth like chocolate. And that's the reason why in villages, Jaggery is referred to as poor man's chocolate, with no disrespect to the poor, but it is actually called poor man's chocolate because that is the chocolate that people in villages eat. And like I said, good quality Jaggery will melt in your mouth like chocolate, and it'll satisfy your receptors in the brain, sending a signal that I've got my share of something that's sweet, which means you won't go on craving for, sweet calories, which are usually empty calories later. So besides producing digestive enzymes, which helps us with digestion, it is also great for constipation. And that's why moms feed their children Jaggery, and a lot of adults and elderly people also have Jaggery daily after their meals, because it is rich in fiber and it is known to work as a very mild laxative. So people who are highly and chronically constipated, Jaggery is fantastic for you. Your liver, Jaggery plays a huge role in detoxifying the liver because of its key components, zinc and selenium. So it is actually used in Ayurveda and in other systems of local medicine as a detoxifier for the liver, as a purifier for the blood. But again, you want to make sure that you're getting ethically sourced, chemical-free Jaggery. A lot of Jaggery in the market is enhanced with chemicals and preservatives to keep it longer. Now, with the onset of winter, and that's the beauty of nature, when you eat local, nature gives you the foods that help you protect or heal the conditions that come along with that season. So with the change in weather right now, there are going to be people with flus and colds and coughs and all of that stuff. So taking Jaggery and mixing it with hot water, like a teaspoon of Jaggery and hot water, makes it a fantastic drink for colds and coughs, irritation, and your lung health as well. For people who live in polluted cities, people who are smokers, people who have, exposure to a lot of pollution, Jaggery has the ability to even detoxify your lungs. Now, when I'm saying detoxify your lungs, it's not the only thing. Detoxification is a vast subject. It's not just foods that will detoxify you. It's your pranayama, your breath, and so many other things. But It has the ability to basically detoxify toxins out of your lungs. And this is great for people with asthma, bronchitis, pneumonia. So you can have Jaggery plain, or you can mix it with hot water. You can add it to your chais. You can add it to coffee. In fact, people who drink tea with refined sugar should try replacing it with white sugar. You won't even know the difference. Some people use it as a replacement in their coffees as well instead of white sugar, because it's a natural sweetener, and refined sugar in a way comes from the sugarcane plant as well. It's a great immune booster during winter, especially because it contains iron, it contains zinc, it contains selenium, magnesium, and phosphorus. All of these play a huge role in your immune system. So for your children, for you, for the elderly, magnesium is a deficiency in almost everyone. That's why during winters we tend to cramp up in our calf muscles, our knees, our knee pain, our joint pain gets more and more. So having a little bit of Jaggery will help you with that as well. Because it's rich in iron, it is a great food for women going through pregnancy, for anemic people, for people with low hemoglobin. Jaggery is given in villages with sesame seeds. You make these into little laddus, and it's given to pregnant women to also increase their iron levels in the body. Now, when it comes to we spoke about that. Now, joint pain. Joint pain is a huge condition in our country. Most people categorize themselves as arthritis, osteoporosis, osteopenia, and all of that stuff. Joint pain gets aggravated when there's more cold in the air. Now, here's a simple recipe that you can do. You can make a simple laddu out of mixing ginger powder, dry ginger powder, Jaggery, sesame seeds. So it would be like half a teaspoon of ginger powder, 1 tablespoon of black sesame seeds, a little bit of ghee, and Jaggery as a binder. And these balls can be consumed during winter to help you with your joint pain. It is extremely, extremely beneficial. For women going through painful PMS before their menstrual cycles, again, a teaspoon of Jaggery and a teaspoon of black sesame seeds. Now you can have it that way, or you can make them into little laddus. And if you're going through a bad PMS, this gives you almost instant relief from the pain that young girls and women go through PMS, this combination. Now, the cautions when it comes to Jaggery, unfortunately, Jaggery works like white sugar on blood sugar levels. So people with diabetes, you cannot overdo it on Jaggery. You need to have it in small amounts and watch your blood sugar levels, because it can have the same impact as white sugar on your blood sugar level. So people with type 2 diabetes, you should be enjoying all of these things. So you should make an intention to reverse your type 2 diabetes, which is 100% possible when you make changes in your lifestyle, the way you eat, your exercise, your sleep, and your emotional stress and your stress levels. We have hundreds and thousands of people around the world who are reversing their type 2 diabetes by making lifestyle changes. Okay, the second warning about Jaggery is, today we're living in an age where a lot of people are home baking, and because they're not using white sugar, they're putting so much more Jaggery. You need to understand that anything in excess is bad for you. So Jaggery does have its share of calories. If we eat it in a small proportion, it's good for us. But people make cakes with Jaggery and all of that stuff. You think it's healthy because they write sugar-free, but they put so much more Jaggery that that's actually becoming a calorie bomb for you. So in the name of health and in the name of sugar-free and stuff like that, we could be doing a lot more damage by eating these over-healthy products, which are basically sweetened with so much of honey and so much of Jaggery that it's actually going to make us fatter and sicker in time. So everything in balance. We should be able to have a couple of commercially prepared sweets once in a way, a dessert, a little bit of white sugar, and all of that stuff when we have a balanced lifestyle. We don't need to go to extremes. Today the world has become extreme. They go too extreme with diets, too extreme with spirituality, too extreme with exercise programs, and no one's getting happier and no one's getting better. The idea is to find a balance between the two. How can we have a little of everything and maintain a solid lifestyle so that we don't fall sick, and if we're sick, we can get better? So Jaggery is something that you want to get right now during the winter time. Now, for people who are living in countries where there's summer, it can also be extremely cooling for your stomach when you mix Jaggery with cold water. So you can take Jaggery, mix it with cold water, and that becomes cooling for your stomach. That's the beauty of nature. Have a great day, everyone. Until next time, eat smart, move more, sleep right, and breathe.